right. So,
You ready?
yeah, we go start.
Okay. His microphone needs to come on.
No, he got his own microphone.
I know, it's the same.
Mhm.
Anyway, here we go.
Okay. Lead off, Jared.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to WSTX AM 970.
If you turn up, you got it up here.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
You're listening to Reflections, another morning with Reflections with Doug and Jerry. Good morning, Big Sis. Good morning, KJ. Good morning, St. Thomas, St. John, Water Island, Christian State, Mid Island, Frederick State. Good morning, St. Croix. Good morning to my friends in New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Texas, Houston. Hey, good morning around the globe. It's another Thursday. Guess what? Thursday begins the weekend. So all you Friday worshippers, don't get jealous. You know why? Somebody get paid today. Don't spend it all in one place. But Thursday begins the weekend. Despite what you may think, Thursday begins the weekend. Because if you don't get paid Thursday, you ain't going to alignment this weekend.
Yes.
All right?
There's a symbiotic relationship.
Yes. So Thursday is boss.
Okay. Like the old days, you go on somebody's spot you for a drink. Okay.
Hey.
You better go prepared.
You better go prepared because ain't nobody, but hey, with the price of things these days,
You know?
ain't nobody buying you a beer and drink and thing no more. Beer is $4 and $5 and $6 and $8. I can't think no here. All kind of outrageous prices. So
Let me tell you, right?
Mhm.
The price of a beer and the price of company. Because if I go and I buy a case of beer and each bottle is $2.50, if I'm going out and it's $4, I paid a $1.50 premium for a beer. So you have to have something more in it. It's what the company is, the ambience of the place. So it gotta be something, you figure out
I think
what it is.
what it is.
I say you gotta figure out what it is. Anyhow,
I can tell you
so
what it is.
let me introduce myself first this morning. Good morning, everybody. All right. Good morning, big sis. Glad to have you on there on my side as usual. All right. Keeping straight.
Who
Good thing.
shine yours like?
Mhm. All right.
Me and call up my kid and my kid extended right there.
You see, already she done turning at you because she know you. All right. Good thing. Okay. And yeah, I just want to do a shout out to family all over the world. I have to say all over the world from east to west and north to south. And I say that, it's not just me, it's a lot of folks out there. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're hearing about family all over the world, it's because of the celebrations of life that are going on, whether in London or down under Europe in general, and all the way over to Africa, because we got family all over the place. If we're willing to find them, and they're willing to find us, make the connection, folks. Make the connection before it's too late. Okay, who promised you tomorrow? I was just talking with a young man, and we were talking. He said, "We blessed to be here and talking. Haven't seen him in ages." And so, well, you plan for life, and life planned for you. And we're blessed to be here and talking today, and so just want to express all appreciation for that fact. Okay, we're streaming. You're going to be streaming on YouTube in a second here, but we're streaming on Facebook. Okay, so you can catch us on both YouTube at Douglas Canton channel, streaming there, and on Facebook WSTX. All right, good thing. So, Jared,
Shake the mic thing a little bit.
this one here.
The one for me.
Okay, I mean everything was coming through good extra for what I can see.
Well, I got a home.
Okay, that probably ain't you, brother. That's probably the box. Okay, remember this hum. Look, man, Doc went and leave a hum in the place. Okay, and I still looking for the map of how to find this hum, like the hidden treasure. Okay, So Doc saying yes, sir. I gonna make sure I gonna have more than a jumbie jamboree hanging with you guys.
Mesanga Jumbi Jamboree boy. Listen,
Oh yes. So anyhow,
something.
that's I ain't complaining though. I ain't
You
complaining.
see, she don't tell me she listening, behave.
You see, I tell you, you think you got all the connections, okay? And it ain't necessarily so. So anyhow, folks, Doug Canton in here, sometimes serious, sometimes silly guy, but hey, uh, every now and then you come across these these little pieces, snippets of wisdom that either you've had before and have forgotten, or you discover along the way now. Okay, and I just tell people that the Virgin, especially on St. Croix could be the eminent university where they create a degree in holding grudge. Okay? A degree in holding grudge. We would be the renowned university. UVI would be more internationally known if they had a degree in holding grudge. Okay. Yeah, it got too much people wrong here there in this thing about holding grudge. And every now and then you run into people who, for whatever reason, they want to shake your hand and it's like, I didn't keep your marble, your girlfriend, or people, what's going on with you? Okay. But, or people you meet for the first time, you realize that whatever perception they have, they get it through somebody else somehow that got some kind of a problem or whatever. But, a grudge, folks, I want you to think about this. To have a grudge is like drinking poison and thinking the other person will fall down dead. Okay?
They might drop down dead laughing.
No, but, but I want to hand that to you, leave that with you, maybe uncover it so you rediscover it. However it comes to you, okay? A grudge is like drinking poison and thinking the other person will fall down dead. Okay? Number one. Number two, don't waste time with hate. Okay? It's too much work. You don't got to 8 to 5, you're putting food on the table, your taxes to pay, all this. Hate is too much work. It's expensive too.
That's
okay?
not a strong word.
But hate?
Yeah.
It is a strong word for a reason. Because you only have but so much life energy. Think about it. You only have but so much life energy. If you just glance at the news every now, you see you had a young man in the NBA. Young man, boom, gone. You had these influencers, barely reaching 20 something, and then you hear, boom, they gone. It's too much work. And for this one life that you have, how much job you need, sir? That hate was not one of the things they were trying to put in the category for people who are workaholics, okay? But they could add to it. But folks, hate is too much work. And grudge is like drinking poison and thinking the other person will drop down dead, okay? Anyhow, moving right along, because I got my jumping beans going strong here this morning.
Yeah,
so.
I want to know what did you eat this morning? I'm not saying I can't muffin.
Oh no, I ain't get to the corn muffin yet. Yeah, folks, this corn muffin here. Only place on St. Croix I know you could get a corn muffin this time of day is the bistro right down here in Gallows Bay, folks. So
You better go all because you're done quick.
hey, yeah. So anyhow, it's just one of those things. Yeah, I'm a cornbread guy. I love cornbread among other things. Um, and it's just one of those things, folks. Everybody got whatever it is that make them happy. For some, it's callaloo. For others, it's pigeon peas. I remember.
Well, for me,
But let me finish. 400 are for me, right? I'm talking about the pigeon peas, right?
Mm.
Because they did it at the table, I remember that being at the table and shelling them pigeon peas and putting them inside the big bowl. You know, boy, we should have big bowl and take out a little handful and
Yeah, we
eat
say,
them just.
we say that back in, yeah, all right, young.
Anyhow, go ahead.
For me, I used to love lentil beans,
Uh-huh.
right? I mean, I still like it. And then one of the is our select and say, I want a piece of pork
Oh
for me
Lord,
Christmas.
Lord, brother man, go say something else.
Yeah.
Some food I love for that other way. Me too.
Mhm.
But that girl put them in check.
Yeah, but see, I don't overdo it.
No, but see, I understand that. Unfortunately, for some people, it's almost like an allergy.
Uh-huh.
They eat it, they get it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so so they definitely always in temptation and fear at the same time.
But my dad got to see to it that in that coming on, they tell me in my blood what I need to do and what I'm not supposed to be doing.
Uh-huh.
So I like to do my checkup. I like that man with a run from the doctor. I run to the doctor.
Okay.
You check?
Well, brother, there's so much that's going on in our community with these things. Folks, 340-773-0390, 773-0490. I throwing these things out because we're talking about little things from growing up times and everything else. And you might have your own little piece of seasoning you might want to add to this kalaloo or pilau or whatever it is we make here today. Okay.
But
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, eh, um, this time of the year, this month, August,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know, right? But I can't ask them now because they pass on.
Mm-hmm.
What my parents was doing 9 months prior to this month here.
Okay.
I would really like to know what
Well,
kind
you
of
know what they were doing.
No. I know what they were doing, but I want to know what they were celebrating. Because guess what? My baby sister, her birthday was the 18th, which was Tuesday gone, right? Yesterday, I had another sister, her birthday was yesterday, and the matriarch of the family, her birthday is on the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 girls born in 1 month.
In 1 month.
So what was so
Running the family?
hush, hush, Mr. Man.
Oh, Lordy me.
I do 2, he do 3. So leave me alone.
Oh, Lordy me. Apple don't
So-
fall too far
so
from the tree.
you guys-
mango don't fall too far from the tree.
So my 3 sisters having birthday this month. Happy birthday to you guys. Hope you guys enjoy your birthday. And to the matriarch, hope you will enjoy your birthday. So happy birthday in advance.
Mm-hmm.
That's next week, Wednesday. That's her birthday.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You know,
So we're talking about these little memories of various things. And so, like I said, folks, if you got something to add, we are always interested in hearing these things. But just sitting around the table, there's 2 things I think about is sitting around the table:
Mhm.
pigeon peas, shelling pigeon peas,
mhm.
and picking callaloo bush. Okay,
You know what I remember too?
what's that?
Broken open, stinking too.
Oh yeah. Hey, you guys thinking too? We call it
Locust.
Locust.
Yeah.
And I don't know why stink is associated with it. 'Cause to me, it had just tastes good.
Yeah. The flesh over that seed. That seed that tastes good.
Yeah. But I remember we would go and get the seeds. They had a tree I used to go to right up here. What's the name of the road here in the past? welcome and the park.
Mhm.
Spring Gut. Go up
Right.
Spring Gut. I find a tree up there. And we used to go there and get them. And of course, you get a seed. And we used to get what you call a bora.
Mhm.
Okay. So, yeah. So, the bora was you would get a metal hanger or a piece of wire. You get a hammer and you pound the one end down flat and sharp.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you bend it up above to make a handle. And you put that on the seed and you turn it till you make a hole all the way go through.
Mhm.
Now, me, I used to improvise. I used to take my father tools and he tell me leave
Yeah,
it alone,
yeah,
take the
uh-huh.
drill and just drill the hole through.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, and that kind of thing. And yeah. Them was the days. Okay.
So you're telling me you used to play cock?
Yep.
So
Not the ones that Dobby said don't touch.
no, no.
Okay.
But you see where your head gone.
No, it's your head guy.
No.
Okay.
Before I was going to explain what it is, and you gonna say not the one that don't be.
Okay.
Not the one that Dobby and Sparrow don't talk about.
Now I know what Sparrow to be talking about. All I know is that the feds come down here touching up people thing and Dobby complaining about it. Okay.
Well, that is them business.
That is their business. Okay.
Yeah. So what
Dou-
is
Double entendre is what it's called. Folks, you're out there. If wherever your mind gone, till you take it there.
yes.
Till you dog Jerry, till you take it there. All right.
So what it is, right? You take the local seed because there used to be some real hard seed, right? So you drill a hole down the center, and you get a string, whether it be a shoelace or whatever it is, and you put it through the seed and you tie a knot at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So what you would do is you would draw a circle in the dirt, and then the other guy would put his seed on in the circle, and you would swing and try to hit his seed until you break his seed. And then once you miss, you put down your seed, and he had to swing and swing and swing until he missed or until he break your seed. And that's the game that we as children back in the day used to play. But I know these children we are nowadays don't even know about that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, they know about is PlayStation. What is it?
Well-
PlayStation 5 now?
yeah, but you
And
see, the thing is,
Xbox and
they own okay. Well, as you say that now, you come back to the adults and their responsibility. If the children then don't notice, the adults is responsible, as far as I concerned. Okay. And it's three things.
mhm,
Cock with the local seed, marble,
marble.
and spinning top.
Just about to say spinning top.
Spinning top.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
took a the flamboyant tree, the branch for the flamboyant tree. We took one that was real circular, and we shave it down on one end. We shape it like a top
Mm-hmm.
and pound a nail through the center.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a homemade top.
Yeah.
And that thing is to spin better than the top you buy in the store. You understand? All them things, growing up and so.
Yeah.
We used to invent some of our toys, which was fun. Even getting the fly paper and getting the same flamboyant tree with some thread and thing and farming the frame for the kite, and getting what we used to use the flour and water to make glue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we make our own kite.
Yeah. Well, I remember using the spine of the leaf for palm leaves.
Uh-huh.
As one potential thing for making the frame for the kite.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, or whatever stick you could find, and of course you had to have some string
Yeah.
and something to make a tail for the kite
Yeah.
out of. Them was the days, and of course, manjack
Mm-hmm.
as a glue.
Yes. Yes.
Manjack as a glue.
Yes.
Folks, any of you know that manjack could taste good?
I don't know about that. I
Uh,
never tasted.
you never taste it?
No, it is good.
Yeah, it tastes good, but it's glue. It has that effect. You tie up the tongue and everything else. But anyhow, you know, that's the thing. You gotta be careful with children. You know, they'll try anything one time. And I say that this is one of the problems now we have with the internet because they're going out there and trying stupidness and hurting themselves.
Man, listen.
You know, but that's a whole other story.
But they ain't just children alone.
Well, you know they talk.
No, no. I remember listening to the news. Somebody get in an accident because I don't know if you remember a few years ago. It had this movie called Bird Box.
Yeah, I heard of the movie. I never watched.
Yeah. Well, some idiot on the highway was imitating Bird Box on the highway and crashed and get into a crash
Okay.
in the United States. Now, what Bird Box was, they had some kind of entity that used to um, kill people. You can't see it, but it would somehow, when you were able to go outside into the outside and you would see it or it get to you, it would cause you to create suicide or whatever the case is.
Hmm.
So what these people was locked up in this house and they barricaded the windows with foil paper and all that kind of thing. And they would they what happened was they ran out of food. So they wanted to get to the grocery store because the grocery store was open, but nobody was alive in there, whatever, because everybody died.
Mm-hmm.
So what these idiots did was they had a car in the garage and they used the backup camera and they drove in reverse from where they were to the store and then back home. So I was like, what kind of idiocy? Well, then I was like, okay, I saw till that much of the video and then the movie, and then I was like, yeah, this is ignorance. I ain't watching no more of this.
Yeah. Well, you know, when it comes to some of these horror movies type of thing, you know, they come up with some
Chopiness.
well, whatever you want to call it, but they don't come up with it.
But
The challenge I have though is with these things is what our parents teaching or ain't teaching their children, because when you're gonna do something that's gonna damage you, it's highly likely to damage you.
mhm.
You know, we have accidents happening out of the blue. 5 teenagers lost their life, drive over a cliff. I know how they managed that one. What stupidness you are doing in the car, so you
I
go.
don't
You
know.
know, they had another one where they it's worse than that. It's not just their lives. They drive head on, went over into they got head on into other people, so other people got hurt in the process and everything else, right?
Mhm.
Um, I remember in St. Thomas, I had a drive around St. Thomas, and if you drive around the East End road, there's some roads back there, people get impatient. And
Mhm.
this dude jump in the car with a friend, okay? Friend in the car with him in the passenger seat. And he pull out to pass and head on collision kill his friend. Okay?
Hmm.
And I'm saying like I'm watching these folks. Yesterday I come in up the road and there's this black Toyota truck forcing coming behind me. Well, obviously when I get a chance to let you get by, get by, and Next you know, next car he make a turn out the light, you know, to a side road, and I'm like, say what? I don't know, man.
Well, maybe you had a hot one. He's better though. Uh-huh. Hey, you never know. He needed to maybe he had a nature card. I don't know.
Okay.
But in on a more serious note,
Mhm.
I want to remind the public, or the listening public, that if you or your loved one have considerable hearing and vision loss, the I Can Connect program is for you. The I Can Connect program, better known as the Deaf Blind Distribution Program, Equipment Distribution Program, is funded by the FCC. To learn more about the program, you can visit icanconnect.org. That's icanconnect.org, or give them a call at 340-692-4267 to learn more about the program and to find out whether or not you meet the income guidelines. Once again, that number is 692-4267. Of course, we're in the VI, so you got that 340.
Well, brother, I really like the idea of that program. Of course, my only one complaint about it is, right?
Yeah. But I don't tell you, I could set you up with a good phone that you could only text, since you like to talk so much. I could
No.
dismantle
It's
the
to,
mic.
it's to accommodate the talking. Brother.
No, I could dismantle the mic, so all you could do with it is text. So
You see, you and Mr. Nibs into cruelty, of one form type or the other. Oh Lord,
no, you see, we have what you call a persuader.
Mm-hmm. I ain't even got to that. I ain't even got to that. The fact that that it's to accommodate the talking, and you're going to in essence cripple the talker and force them that all they could do is typing. Okay, all right. But coming back to these horror thing. Okay,
Mhm.
I remember in living down in Richmond, and it had this entity that was referred to as Frago. We know how Frago come about, but anyhow, just like the Goatfoot woman and all these other
And the
things,
green
right?
man.
Okay, and I have to get that. I have to give that get that video with Doc
Uh-huh.
and Bolly Peterson
Mhm.
talking about Jumbi. Okay, in particular that if you got a Jumbi following you,
Uh-huh.
the best way to get rid of a Jumbi is run
Uh-huh.
and then bank a hard corner because Jumbi can't bank corner.
When we get about that. But you remember,
And I hear Doc now and and he's getting frightened. He went home. And if after he moved a lot of the something. Anyhow.
back in the day in elementary school and stuff growing up, you would hear them talk about the Goatfoot man and the green man and all these kind of stupidness.
Mhm.
And that used to get them turn well frightened up,
Oh yeah.
And like, when you get older now, you realize the stupidness they were talking about. I'd be like, nah, man.
Well, that stupidness keep a lot of children in line. Keep a lot of children in line.
Aye.
Anybody out there a witness? 773-0390 0490. Oh yeah. So if you had a personal encounter with the Jumbi or the Goatfoot woman, you would let us know.
Or the green man, what is it? Used to be in the bathroom waiting. You used to got children free to go bathroom now.
Son, these days, the Child Protective Service is coming for you for you doing terrifying a child like that.
What?
You know. Anyhow,
Man.
anyhow, folks, it's 32 minutes going on 33 minutes, going on 34 minutes, something like that, after the hour of 8. And at 9 o'clock, we're expecting Alvin Milligan to be coming in. Alvin Milligan, as you may not or may know, is one of the candidates for the, the Senate on St. Croix. And he's the first one, so far the only one that going to be on our show. All right. And my thing with that is like, hey, it's St. Croix and it's WSTX and it's people. So if you want to reach people, there are places you can go, and one of them is WSTX. All right. Let the people know that you're thinking about them and why they should vote for you. Now, of course, WSTX got plenty of different shows, so uh, my thing is, yeah, you could come to our show, but you could also go on other shows. The bottom line is that you need to share your views and ideas with other people so that they could have hopefully some kind of objective basis to say that this is who I voted for and why. If they're going to make such a proclamation.
No worry, next 4 years I run for governor.
For governor?
Yeah.
Okay, folks.
I figure since we don't have a blind man in there before, they'll hire next blind one. What is it?
No, maybe they had one that were playing blind, and now they want the real thing.
No, he had sight, but he had no vision.
Yeah, I understand, but I put in a
So he
different
blind-
I
so
did
he
I put
blind.
in a different spin on it, brother. I put in a different spin on it. That's the way you see it.
Mhm.
I put a different spin on it. Okay?
Mhm.
Because I know he have vision. All right?
But he has sight.
Okay. You know, so
Vision is what he's lacking.
yeah, anyhow. No, I hear you. I hear you. Why saying to you, I just put in a different spin on things depending on how people want to look at it. Because, you know, Marvin Gaye and Tommy Terrell did that song, ain't nothing like the real thing.
Mhm.
Well, you are the real thing, but okay, so all right. Okay, so
Somebody told me.
okay, coming back to you, continue.
Somebody told me the other day. But Mr. Evelyn, and make blindness look normal.
Yeah. Okay. I sent you the jingle. You got it?
I don't know what they're talking about that because I just being out there being me.
Nice.
You know? Yesterday we had a discussion, you know, which I've had on this show once before. You know, is the difference between the various canes, the white cane. So now, I made this statement before, I'm gonna make it again. I need people to understand this. The white cane is a white cane. It's a symbol that the person is blind or visually impaired, meaning they may have some semblance of sight. They could see shadows, you know, or maybe they just see light, and that's it. Okay. The thing is, when you say white cane, if you go to the NFB, which is the National Federation for the Blind, you'll get a straight white cane with a metal guide tip to the bottom. If you go to any other retail, whether it be a medical supply store, whether it be Maxi Aids who give you devices and stuff for the blind, you're going to get a white cane with a stripe tip, a red stripe tip to the bottom, right? But the NFB is the only place you will find, if any, a white cane that does not have that red stripe to the bottom of the cane. Now, the red stripe signifies that the individual have some semblance of sight, whether they can see a little bit of shadows or they can see whatever. They can see shadows, they can see bodies, or whatever it is. But when you go to buy one, these canes, especially one that folds up, it's like they said, give me a one size fit all. So whether you could see or you can't see, they're selling you this white cane with this red stripe at the bottom. So, and it's called a white cane. If you put white cane in the search suggestion for any, whether it be Amazon, whether it be eBay, whichever one you want to go shop on, you're gonna see the same type of cane, folding cane with the red strip at the bottom. So apparently it is all under one umbrella. A white cane is a white cane. The only difference is if you want a white cane that don't have the red strip, you have to go to the NFB, and the NFB have their NFB store. But I'm not sure if it is still operating. The NFB store was closed at one point. I need to go back on there to see if it's reopened, because that's where you will get the straight white cane, or you can get a collapsible white cane, but there's no rolling tip to the bottom. It will have a metal glide tip to the bottom, just like the straight white cane you could get for free at the NFB. So if you don't have any money to buy a cane and you're visually impaired, you can order a cane through the NFB for free, and they ship it here straight to you. Just go on there, you click on the thing for free white cane, you put in your name, your address, your your age, all that stuff, your email. Of course, you're gonna need an email, because you're gonna need the email to confirm the order. So once you put all that stuff in, and they send you an email, you click on the email to confirm your order. In a couple of weeks, your cane will be at your door for free. You know, it's free matter for the blind, so it costs you nothing, it costs them nothing. So, but that would be a straight white cane that does not fold up. So you will have to know how to traverse with it. Whether when you get into the car, you will have to put it between the seat and the car door and rest it down between there, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, you know, one of the things I hear you, right? And sometimes when you're talking to somebody else who's visually impaired, and I just want you to remember that you're also talking to people who have someone in their life that is visually impaired, and they can always bring the expertise to them. And I'm just putting it that way in the sense that, if you have someone in your home, in your family, that is visually impaired and would be interested in expanding their ability for mobility, you guys had a training the other day, a free training, with regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because there are a lot of folks who feel that if a person is visually impaired or blind, you just give them a cane. You know, you can't do that. They have to learn how to use it and navigate it, and how to know how to figure out whether they're in a safe situation or unsafe situation relative to the feedback that the cane is giving them.
Right.
You know?
Well, you know, you can do that, you know, but they ain't gonna know how to use it.
Yeah, it can, but I'm being proactive in the context that the whole idea is to facilitate the quality of life.
Yeah,
for the
no, I
individual
know what you
who's
mean
looking.
because they,
Yeah, you just the mischievous guy over there
no, no,
saying the
no,
thing,
no,
and
no,
you no.
no,
Say
no,
that how
no,
you
no,
want to.
no,
I'm gonna put big sis on you just
no.
now. Keep it up.
You can put all you want. I taller than she.
Man, when
So
she bust you down, you
I got a
know.
bigger kid, the longer kid.
When she bust you down, you
Yeah,
know.
I got a longer kid. I could swing without getting close.
All right.
But anyway, the reason why I said that is
Mhm.
there have been several situations where they have done it here,
Mhm.
where they just buy the person a cane and expect the person to use the cane. You know, like I know, I guess you get blind and then you automatically know how to use a cane, a white cane. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, if you need to know any more information about the cane or getting in touch with um, someone to teach you how to use your white cane, you can call 340 692 4266 or 340 692 4267 because we have a orientation and mobility specialist on board contracted with VIU said. So if you need training, interested in learning more about um, becoming mobility trained, call us at these two numbers 340 692 4266 or 340 692 4267, and we'll get you in touch with our orientation and mobility specialists to get you going.
Okay. One of the things I have to say, folks. Okay, anybody could tell you what the problem is. Getting to a solution is always your goal, right? And one of the things that we try to do here on the show, and I think Jared does a fantastic job of it, is be part of the solution, because he ain't just telling you about the white cane. He telling you about services that are there available free to you or your loved one, if one day willing to get a white cane as part of learning how to move around and be more independent in that regard. We have these stereotypes on that we've seen over the years. The visually impaired person holding on to somebody's shoulder or whatever the case may be. Um, that may be convenient, like if you're there in a crowd of people, but uh, Gerald confessed to me the other day that the girl perfume smelled nice and he had know how to move around, but he let her have him put his hand on her shoulder and follow her around. You know what I'm saying? Saying, "Boy, had so much people, it was helpful, or whatever." Yeah, for whatever reason. But aside from that, okay, the reality is the stereotype is just that, and independence is something to be cherished and encouraged, and the ability to have both, as Jared would tell you, is good too. All right. Okay, you ain't gotta say nothing, Jared. I ain't gonna bust you out there.
People don't promise him to hide my cane, but what they don't know is I got more than one.
You
I always got a backup.
always gotta back up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good
Can't be
thing.
out there without a backup.
I hear that. I hear that. All right.
You a car run on four wheels, right? But
And
but but you have a fifth one in the trunk.
Yep, a steer.
Okay. So I walk with one cane. I got a fifth one in the back. Second one in the back. So
All right. Good thing. Good thing. All right. So um it's been a busy week in a lot of different ways. You know, one with new life coming into this earth all over, and folks checking out. And I say that it's just one of those things that the circle of life continues to move, and it's just amazing how much we tend to take for granted that it gonna be there tomorrow. You know who we have to invite in? Otis. You know Otis?
Can you remember?
Otis from La Valley. He does sing.
Okay.
Okay, some people say he don't try to sing, but I say he does
Oh,
sing.
Jesus.
And he do some great impersonations like Michael Jackson and thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Okay, but the thing for me with Otis, okay, more than anything, is that to me he's one of our gems, jewels, uh, special people. Everybody's special, but I'm just saying in the context of what he does when he comes to an event and he performs,
Mm-hmm.
whether it is somebody sucking the teeth or laughing or applauding or whatever, everybody getting something out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody getting something out of it that otherwise is, you know, we are blessed at this point in time to have that person in the community. You know, you had Faxman Adams, and Faxman Adams would call in and talk about various personalities in Virgin Islands history and certain notable persons' birthdays or accomplishments or whatever, so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have enough hours of the day. I would love to go through my radio show recordings and find those conversations because they are gems. They're things that have passed our way and will not pass our way again, at least not via those lips, unless it's the recording. Okay. So now, this is the dilemma that I am facing. I have all of this video of people and events around St. Croix, and I have the audio also. And so one of the things that I've been working on is cataloging this stuff. Because if I don't catalog it, then nobody knows where to find it. And if you can't find it, it's as good as throw it. And unfortunately, too much of our cultural heritage has moved on simply because there is no documentation of it other than in people's minds. And that can be a reliable source for a time, but if it's not memorialized in some type of physical digital way, it's gone pretty much forever. So this is the challenge that we face. So anyhow, I'm saying that to people out there because you got to do your part as part of the solution to make sure that you contribute to these things being preserved. Right? We got scanners left and right, so there's no reason why those special pictures in your family should just be on one person wall, and then because of personalities or whatever, it doesn't get shared between folks. That's that's always a part of the problem we have. Is like, yeah, you ain't got nothing. Sometimes it dead end, but nobody want to share. Sometimes because it's mine and me ain't gonna let you see it. Remember that thing I was talking about before, the G word? People get into these personality issues, these grudge issues or whatever, and it's like the poison that's supposed to kill another person, but you drinking it, folks. It just don't work that way. Okay, and in the end, it's the memory and legacy of the people of our virginals and so forth. Okay, so if you got them kind of family pictures, get somebody to work with and start getting them digitized. If you're into computers, get some type of a cataloging program that you could put all of those pictures in and let some folks know that you have it and where it is. And of course, what the password to your computer is. Because, yeah. Now, from a technical perspective, things people put things on the computer. Well, the reality is computers break.
Yeah.
And so the hard drive becomes inaccessible, corrupted, or whatever. So in my case, almost everything that I have stored in multiple places, multiple physical devices, so that if something breaks, I have a backup and a backup and a backup. Okay. As a result, for those of you who are familiar with physical sizes in terms of storage, I have um, terabytes, over 100 terabytes of storage to make sure that I have that type of backup. And it's not about being obsessive as much so as I want to make sure that those things that are value, like family pictures, are going to move on. And there's one set in particular that I'm looking at. I used to have a surveillance system around my house. And at one point in time, I had a tenant who was a very good friend, and of course, my people in the yard. And that system worked by taking time-lapse pictures. And so we have all of these pictures of these little children hanging up clothes, different things, so forth and so on, that are jewels, gems, keepsakes now. And to be able to go through all those things. But I know that let's say, for every minute in a year, I got a picture, whatever, to look and find and catalog and everything else. So I know from a practical perspective, I may not get to all of it. So I have to make sure that somebody could come after me and get to it and know what is where and so forth and so on. And I'm saying that to you folks out there. Everybody got camera now and everybody could take picture and so forth, but your safeguard is sharing and storing. Sharing and storing. Make sure that you have the opportunity to make sure that somebody can help with these legacy type things in terms of passing it on. Okay. All right. It's about 5 minutes before the hour. The marshal, I believe, is out on a mission, so we may be going through and doing the top of the hour. The top of the hour later on when they get back. But in the meantime, just around 9, we're going to be having Alvin Milligan come in here, and we're going to talk about his candidacy and whatever else he would like to talk about, and interact with him in the process. Looking forward to it. All right. Now, um, you know, how old is Mr. Nibbs?
Mr. Nibs?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's 70 something, I guess.
70 something.
70 or 80, yeah.
You think he's slowing down?
I don't know.
Are you boy Devon?
Devon, he said he's what, 61?
Yeah, I hear from him in quite a while. He got broke out of this thing, but wanting to call in the last 5 minutes and talk about 30 minutes worth of stuff.
Well, I know he's busy over there in New York with that new Beamer we buy. So,
Well, you gotta enjoy life, my son. That's what it's about.
don't worry, I gonna take it for a spin when I go there.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a lot of road now. Straight.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of straight road up there. So me got turn corner.
Yeah. Well, we got a jingle here to play,
Mm-hmm.
but the marshal ain't here, so we're gonna have to do some kind of
Improvise.
improvise. That's what they'll call it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
Oh my library.
MacGyver it. Well, that's what I'm gonna try to do. We'll see if I'm gonna see if the MacGyver. Okay, I hear something then. I hear something then. Okay. So let me see here and if I get it right. If I get it right. Oh, culture, our culture. I didn't hear that one in a while. Let me see if I could get that up here. Yeah, that's it's just interesting to see all of the things that are happening out there in the community um, with regards to culture and I'm involved with some nonprofit organizations
Mhm.
and I'm looking forward I'm looking forward to the opportunity. There's one in particular that has a program and that Shalana Brown is involved with. So I'm going to see about making a donation. I love what she's doing with the young people in terms of making sure that they are more aware and more inclined to be thinking about the things that they are aware of. Okay, so let me see something here.
Yeah, let's see if we walk in because it's 9 a.m.
No, that ain't gonna work that way. Okay. Anyhow, we're gonna improvise with the microphone for the phone calls. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna improvise in that regard. So you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So let's just give it a little whirl here where we take a quick break here.
What's now? Image, we back again. We got another little flavor for you. Nice. You thought it was good the first time? But we had so much fun, we could do it again. Hello, my people, how you doing today? It's been a long time coming, what I have to say. Look at our culture, things are not the same. Let's not sit down and do nothing while it go down the street. Love me. Let's up on the masquerade. The musicians and masqueraders. On the way. Look around the outside. We must be ready from happiness. Fight for your culture, work for your culture, enjoy your culture. Get up, worship your culture, learn from your culture, stay with your culture forever. When they come to eating, I just feel so shame. All the European dishes, I just and I didn't help me. Hello, friends, it's Tukuna. Watching on with some Rampura. Or some lemonade. So it's a passion fruit. Now that one is a rescue. Fight for your culture, work for your culture, enjoy your culture. Get up, worship your culture, learn from your culture, stay with your culture forever. their contributions to their heritage. The Hamilton Jackson, Elmo Plastic James, Rusty Shabbat, Henry Rosen, Alexander Morgan, continue. This is the Data Senior. I'm the Father to the Stopper. And nothing. We take your right and mix. We take Junior Jackson. Fight for your culture, work for your culture, give for your culture. Get up, work with your culture, learn from your culture, stay with your culture, forever and ever. Don't forget our greatness maker. Like no one in that Christian. As a holiday. And then to the fight and the sun. You think you got the sun. With the forest baby. It's a Thomas man. Speak it up. Rudy Salterbrand. Ohio Williams. Blinky. James. Go Paris. Elrod Simmons. Lloyd Prophet. Ash Thomas. Nick Dobby. Wesley Thomas. Pilo. Stanley. Alfred Lionel. Fiona Watson. Mick Harris. Willie White. Eric Francis. Edel McIntosh. And many more. Too numerous to mention. Brownie. We thank you. Good game.
We will there for our Illegal 2026. There them talking, people shouting. We got more for our Illegal. It's November 2026. We back in the candidate for the legislature. These are my fire equity. All the doing great things for the community. People need to come out with the sun rays and cast the vote for our illegal. Hear them talking, people shouting, we hoping for our illegal. Not free calls, because of disasters. We have to look for speakers. Come and with the vision to fix the situation.
Yes, folks. I know some of you going to tell me just that and sing it word for me, but I going to do better than that. We have the man himself in here with us here this morning, Alvin Milligan, running for the Senate. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, former Senator Doug Canton. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm happy to see all the people who are jumping up and saying, "Yeah, man, my back broad, I can handle it." It's your turn.
Well, good morning to the viewing and listening audience this morning. Before I start, I'd like to pay tribute to the late Bradley Christian. As you know, that was my adopted father, and we're going through a period of mourning. And just to let folks know that the family appreciates all the kind words, sincere condolences that have been bestowed since his passing. Just to share with you his funeral services. Well, the celebration of his life is going to be held on Friday, September 4th at 9 a.m. We're going to have a viewing at the Holy Trinity Lutheran Church in Frederiksted. And then the service will be at 10 at the Friedensburg Moravian Church right next door. And the reason for that is that he's a staunch Lutheran. However, because of the church's limited capacity to hold the amount of people that we expect to pay their tributes and their last wishes, we have decided that we'll have it at the Moravian Church right next door. Thereafter, we're going to have a cultural procession with Standing the 10 Sleepless Night around the block. And then as we get to the entrance of the Frederiksted Cemetery where he'll be laid, to rest among many of his ancestors and family members. We therefore have a set of quadrille dancing. So it's to be a very nice tribute to him. And also, I like to say to his beautiful wife, the beautiful Patricia Christian. She's also in a double period of mourning because she also lost her son on the same very day that she lost her husband. So we ask that you keep the family in prayer, especially his daughters, Asta and Ashria, and all the extended family. So that's it in a nutshell. And of course, my running, he was very much instrumental in being one of my dearest confidant in making that decision to run for the people of the Virgin Islands,
All right.
especially the St. Croix district. So my name is Alvin Milligan, and I was born and raised in Frederickstead, St. Croix, Freedom City. I was born at the Ingelberg Nesbitt Clinic, and I grew up in Frederickstead, attending both the public and parochial school system, and of course graduated from the Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn, New York. I also joined the U.S. Army and became a combat medical specialist. So I am a veteran, and came back and I worked for the Virgin Islands government for a period of 33 years, both at the Department of Tourism and then later at the Department of Human Services, where I retired as the Administrator of Senior Citizens Affairs. So full circle. Also, I'm known very much in the community as an organist of choice, as I play for 3 different congregations in St. Croix over a period of 37 years. So being a member of the St. Croix Heritage Dancers, which was under Bradley's tutelage, I am the vice president of that organization. And with him, I have been able to serve in many cultural activities like team meetings and other cultural presentations in the school, showcasing and sharing our Crucian culture. So my reason for running is, Senator Canton, is that I think that we are at a crossroad in the Virgin Islands, and I don't have any place to go. I am a pre-emancipation family, so our family has been here before the emancipation in 1848. And I see that although people are saying things are being done and we're making progress, I feel, and most people feel as well, that the island district of St. Croix is going unnoticed. With all of this going on, and when you travel to the different Caribbean islands and just even to the mainland, and you see the progress that most of these places are making, we want to know what's going on in St. Croix in particular. And, you know, we have to start, and I always say to people, you can learn from the youths, and you could learn from your elders and you could teach your youths. So that is where I stand in the gap there. I think that people are tired of the party politics, and they want to see a big difference in the upcoming years. I will now face a new administration coming in the executive branch, and I think one of the things that is going to be a plus is that we are starting from scratch. And I think we can only go forward as the days go by. When I started to run, person said to me, if you're running any other party or anything, we're not going to support because we're tired of it. So I listened to them because at the end of the day, you have to listen. And a good senator, as you know, have to listen to his constituents or her constituents. And I always say to people, there is no I in a senator. It's we, and we're going to work together. I pledge to work with the executive branch because that's very important that both the legislature and the executive branch work together. I think we've lost that. I think we've spent too much time fighting. And while we can disagree, we need to agree at some point. So there it is in a nutshell. And before I go forward, I just want to share that I know the folks east of Kings have been saying, we ain't seeing you in Christian says. So guess what? Next Saturday, August 29, we're going to have a grand food sale in the area of Peter's Rest, right in front of where the old where the FedEx office is in that area. So please come on now. We're going to starting at 11 o'clock, and we're going to have all the Crucian cuisines. We're going to have roast pork, roast goat, stuffing macaroni, all the nice teas to go with it, the trimmings and stuff like that. Sauce and potato salad prepared by some of the most noteworthy cooks in the Virgin Islands. So I'm not going to tell you who they are. You have to come out and buy a plate of food and have a good day. So that is going to be one of the fundraisers that we have. We had one in Frederickstead, so we know that we need to touch the bases on that. Like I said, I am not in a Frederickstead, Christianstead kind of thing. This is one island, And I have never been afraid to traverse this island or go any place because I think it's very important. One of the things that I want to mention and quickly and then move on to some other stuff is the recent school violence, former Senator Doug Canton. I think that we really need to zero in on this. Up to this morning, I got another disturbing video. And while people are saying that these students need to be expelled, I don't think that's the best idea. We need to have some type of reform. And I'm hoping between the executive branch and the legislature, we could come up with something that we could really reform our children. Because if we put them away, we throw them away, then what do we have as a future? So I'm hoping that we could get that done and look at some other means that aren't just expelling them from school. They're angry, and we need to find out why they're angry. I mean, we grew up and we used to have a little fist fight now and then, but these children have a lot of anger in them, and we have to find out what the nucleus of the problem is, because there is an issue.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things, I've been on several media platforms before, and I need, you can't mention everything because at the time, but one of the things I want to really mention is the agriculture production in our islands. And I think everybody just thinking planting alone is agriculture, but there's so many other aspects, livestock and everything that goes with it. And as you go into the supermarket and you see the price of foods, we're going to have a serious problem. And growing up, everybody had a little garden and stuff. So I want to see that we go back to visiting some of the programs that we had. When I was going to school, we had a 4-H program. We had the Farmers of America. I think it was Future Farmers of America, the Boy Scout program. We need to get our children in where they need to know that, I remember going to 4-H, and we used to have, had the bean, you plant the bean in a little cup, and you had to watch it grow. And I mean, when you see the creation of that, and so we need to get our children involved in farming, and not just the agriculture fair and in February. I think we need to have a junior agriculture fair, get our children in there, because children and people don't realize that agriculture is also part of science as well. So we want to get people to plant more so that we eat even more healthy as well, because a lot of the times when you go to the store, after a day or two, you can't use a sub because it's processed. So I wanted to touch bases with that. Of course, the other stuff is senior care in our Virgin Islands, senior disability and homeless, because that is something that is plaguing us every day. And when I say about the senior care, we have a lot of people, unfortunately, that are suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's not much care for them. We need to institute together, come up with a comprehensive plan where we have adult daycare centers for our seniors, and not one that is just going to house 10 or 15 people. Anything less than 75 for me is not a go, because people have to go to work. But you would like to drop your parents or your loved ones to a place where they can be taken care of for the hours that you're to work and carry them back to their home, because you don't want to just put them in institution, because we know that when they do that, they deteriorate. But if they could live in the comfort of their home, but at least be provided for during the day, families can take time to take care of their parents. Another thing too is home health care, because there's some of them that don't really have dementia or Alzheimer's, but they just can't care for themselves. Medication management, especially in terms where if they don't remember to take the medications, either they take too much or they take too less, and either way, it's detrimental to them. So that is one of the things that I want to see that we could bring on board for that. And of course, I mean, we could go on and on, because we have our hospitals, we have our energy crisis. So, these are things, and I'm right here. So I don't want to, because we all know what the problem is, but we have to come up with some solutions. And somebody said to me, what are you going to do for the hospital? I said, first of all, we have to know what the issue is. And nobody has really said to us, this is the issue. Now, in the last couple of budget hearings that I'm now hearing commissioners and directors speaking a little more about the issues. And that makes me feel good, because in order to address the issues, you have to know what the problem is.
Okay. Well, I gonna give you a little suggestion there. Start talking to more of the people that you know that work at the hospital.
And I have been doing that.
Okay,
I have been doing that.
So you've been doing that. That's
yes.
great.
And any agency in particular, because I don't want to overstep, and I want people to understand that the legislature has its own tasks to do, but we still have to work with the executive branch. But you don't want to overstep and start doing executive stuff. So you have to be mindful that that you still have to be respectful of that.
Let me just say this, right? Just like we live in St. Croix. But first of all, welcome to the show. You jump into you're talking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Okay?
Welcome to the show.
And the thing is, we start off a little bit slow, so you won't get quality time here today, okay? I'm making sure you're gonna get quality time. So don't feel that pressure. You gotta get everything in like that, okay? But I say that in the sense that from my experience with health and hospitals, sometimes what comes in onto the legislative floor to be said and what's happening don't really reveal everything. So talking to the little man out there is going to go a long ways and give you insight to things that going on. St. Thomas folks put an article. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it.
Yes. And my immediate thing was, okay, so what is St. Croix people I'm saying? Because you see what they're doing, they're going out and the squeaky wheel getting the grease. I want St. Thomas get fixed and St. Croix saying, but what about we? No, we don't. We want to make sure it all happens in that regard. Now, a couple of personal observations. One is I personally like when I go to a church function, you play in the organ, okay? You don't bring it to life, okay? You don't bring it to life, okay? I wanted to say that one. And two, your involvement through your work with the seniors is a very, very special kind of community work because it is more than just a job. I'm sorry and happy to hear that you retired.
But let me say this, my reason for being that way, I just didn't get like that. And I mentioned Bradley Christian, and I will forever be speaking about him because a lot of my involvement in the community and even interacting with the seniors was through his efforts as well. But even before that, Doug, I knew my grandmother, I knew my great-grandmother, and I knew my great-great-grandmother. So I knew my grandmother's grandmother. So having to deal with the older folks, and I'm not calling them old people because they don't tell you plain, no, they're not old people, but having to know my great-great-grandmother is a blessing because a lot of people can't even say that they know their grandmother, much less great-grandmother plus the great-great-grandmother. So I'm not awkward or novice to dealing with the older community. So that was one of the reasons that when I took that job, I knew exactly what needed to be done.
Right.
Well,
They got a home on Echo on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay, well, there's nothing we can do about that right now. We're going to have to
The Echo.
okay, yeah, the Echo, we're going to take care of that. Echo, we'll take care of that real quick, yeah. We got that covered now. Okay, being grounded in the community is, to me, an important thing. And that's one of the things that, from my perspective, that you are bringing to the table. Whether it's culturally, when you talk about caregiving, when you talk about services for persons with disability and elders, whatever, you're talking with an experience that is, I think, important part of the non-academic, non-business side of things. But these things have also given you insight into those things also from my perspective. And that's one of the things that in terms of the candidacy is super important, because you talk about what's going on with St. Croix. I think one of the challenges that you're going to find, and just throw this out there as a little seed, is that as a senator, there's only so much that you can do unless the community is an active, vocal part along the 2 years. Because at the end of 2 years, there's things that you can accomplish when people will call up the others and say, hey, I support this and I want you to do something about it. Because right now, whether it is WAPA or what's going on with our children, things have been on a slippery slope for a long time, and everybody could tell you who are wrong, everybody could complain, but how do we generate community action? And I throw that challenge out to you, not as the answer now, but I'm just
But
saying.
I'll say this to you too,
Mhm.
right? One of the things too, and I look at the demographic of the voting population and in the Virgin Islands in total, and I'm going to be honest with you, very displeased that our seniors are not being heard because they're the biggest voting bloc.
Mhm.
And I've said to them, I know they have the retirees picnic, and I have to apologize. I was supposed to attend yesterday, but I was doing some other stuff at the senior center. But they have to form some type of coalition. I know you have Betty Wilson, you have Mr. Ford that goes up, but it has to be more than that.
Yes.
And your voice has to be heard. I can't formulate it for you, but once they put that together, and I'm going to be the voice for them, but they have to come and say, you know what, these are the issues that plague us, and we want to see some result because we the ones that go out and vote.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share something with you after the show. 'Cause I
Mhm.
this is your time.
Right.
I'm going to share something with you in terms of a strategy for dealing with that. Okay. But Jared,
I know him very well.
Very well?
Yeah, I know him very well.
okay, I need to call police now.
No. That's a good guy. It is always.
There you go.
Yes. But and even with that too, I had a call the other day from another one of your fellow colleagues, Jared, and I don't want to mention people's name on if they're not present. But even the scene impaired. I remember years ago there was at the DPNR they used to have stuff for the scene impaired and where they learn braille and stuff like that. Is that still very active?
That's the Library for the Blind.
Right.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not as active.
And you see, that bothers me because I know I had to tell you, I'm going far back now. My great aunt's godmother, she lived in Wingard, and her name was Vivi Mack. She was one of the first quadrille masters that we had, female ones. And she was blind. But let me tell you, ain't nobody could have cooked like that woman. Okay? So we don't want to just make people because they have issue in terms of seeing or whatever issue they have, because they make this, but we still have to make certain that they have a fair share in what they do. So, and these are the things that I want to make sure that we address, that we're not just casting people on the side because of what, deficiencies they may have.
Right. Well, I will tell you, first of all, you got the number one person to talk to among all the other people that are involved with the persons with disabilities here through Gerard. You can find out what their concerns are. One of the challenges is getting folks like Public Works to be responsive, and it's one thing when you're given a job like to care for people. I talk into the choir. No, it's one thing for you to use your judgment as to what it is that they need. It's another thing to say, well, what do you need?
Exactly.
And get that feedback.
And it's funny that you said that because when I went to you, and I'll let you answer to Jared, when I went to Human Services at the senior said, you know what I did the first day? I said to the seniors, tell me why you want to do. Because I could plan all kind of activities, but if they don't want to do it, guess what? It's effortless. So, and they started saying us, okay, we can't do everything. But I promise you, we started going to bowling, we started going to the movies, we went to Hotel and the Key, things that they would normally want to do, but because of probably some transportation issue or family members not able to take them. So it's very important, and even for caring, because I was a caregiver, I took care of my great auntie, she was 96 years old. And even with eating, I would get up, I said, Auntie, what you want to eat today? She said, I said, we ain't got that on the menu. You know what I'm saying? But because you always want, it's the small things in life, especially when it comes to the senior population. They don't want a lot, though. Yeah. They just want to know that somebody cares for them. They have a place to sleep, a clean set of clothes, and something to eat. Basically, in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, that's great. But like I said, that's your guy. You talk to him because he will tell you about Vitron.
I have no issues.
That's one of the things I want to mention about Vitron. Somebody need to do a forensic audit that's to find out where this federal money going. Because I know for a fact they get $8 per person on the fixed route bus, $28 per person for the paratransit bus. That's the bus that goes to your door to pick you up. Right. So now, and they always complaining about money for this, money for that. But then When I told them that, they said, "Oh, all that money don't come to Bytran. Some of it is spent elsewhere. So where are you spending our money?"
But make it make sense, Gerald.
Yeah.
If they're collecting, where would the monies go? And
Yeah.
that's the problem that I see in the Virgin Islands is accountability. That is we have a serious problem. And then whose responsibility it is over whose relationship. And a lot of times we because we want to see things get done, we start doing other people's job. And while that it may be good, sometimes it's detrimental to us as well.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that money should be spent
For what?
It's intended for.
Exactly, and the upkeep of the vehicles and stuff like that. So I hear it. I know from when Sonny, which I know him from a child. Sonny and our families go about 3 generations back. I remember him parking his wheelchair in front. We call him Beat Son. And people say, well, he have a right because if he doesn't look out for himself, who is going to look out for him?
Exactly.
So I'm totally with that, and anything that I can do to assist with that, because we all live in this community and everything that is not well affects all of us.
And then you made there was one of the guys that I know who's visually impaired. He sent somebody to get application from.
I addressed that, and I addressed that just yesterday. So we're working on that. And the issue is, I don't think it was so. Since you brought it up, because I wasn't going to go into details.
No, I wasn't going to call his name.
No, I'm not going to call his name, but I must say though that I did, because after I came off the air, I called him right out, because one thing about me, I'm going to try to fix the problem. And what it is too, like everything else, we're grossly short-staffed. However, I said to him, I said, fill out the application, get the application, fill it out and send it in. And you give it a time period. And if you don't hear anything, you need to start calling around. Listen, I fill out this application, because my thing, you always have to document everything. Put it in there. Let it go in there. And then afterwards, you blow the whistle, because they're saying that the seniors, and at every election cycle, senior. But then you don't see the end results.
It's 2 groups. Seniors and youth in the future.
And you don't see the results. So, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that.
I told them like this, they had 2 ladies that used to run it. I was visually impaired.
I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, and a gentleman as well.
Okay.
And several of them have, 3 of them have transitioned. But the thing is that they had more staff there to assist. So what it is that in government in a whole, you have these positions when people retire, they're not being filled. And is what becomes priority. But you cannot say that you're running a recreation center and you don't have the amount of staff. And I must commend the staff at DHS in total, but especially in the Division of Senior Citizen Affairs. We don't have a lot of staff, but guess what? We have some magnificent volunteers that go in and help. However, with volunteering, you'll come today, you come tomorrow, but we need to staff up these entities so that we could provide the right care. And we know that when you go to the scene, I have had persons that come and say to me, "Oh, my mother got dementia." So who tell you? So you went to a doctor? They say, "Yeah, but she don't do this and she do that." I said, "Okay, bring her." And we watch the person for a few weeks. And when they come at this surprise, you know what it is? That socialization in the setting with people that are like them, it helps a lot. Now, I heard somebody saying the other day that we don't have a center in Frederickson, and I need to discuss that too. We had Allisville Center, and as a matter of fact, I started there as a summer student at age 15. Could you imagine? And what has happened with everything else, this tsunami kind of nonsense, well, not nonsense. So now they're saying that we cannot reuse it as a center because it's right in a tsunami zone. So we have to look, because that doesn't negate the fact that we need a center in the Frederickson area. But right now, that is the issue. It's not that we had not tried with that. I think there was some money before, prior to me even going there. Where the money went is another whole story. So I'm not blaming even this administration. But the thing is that there's no checks and balances. So that is the first issue that we have in terms of having a senior center in the same location. And with everything, the federal government and those in power, they're always going to try to take away from you. So you have to stand around and say, okay, since we can't go to Allisville, what do you recommend, or what you could give us within the Frederickson area?
Okay. my question, I'm not asking you to answer this, because are they saying that the federal government said you can't open up there, or they're making a qualitative decision? Because the real issue is the evacuation mechanism. If you have the proper buses dedicated and whatever so forth, you get a tsunami alert, you get the people on the
Out.
buses and you get them out. Otherwise, so how much of St. Croix, so they're in tsunami zone,
Listen,
and we're doing business every day. And so when I hear that, I want to know
who?
who's saying that.
And that's the problem, Senator Canton. You know, you get, and sometimes you're not in a position of knowing,
Mhm.
but that's what was said. And I like you to, I have tried many times to find out exactly, because I owe it to the people. I get people like Marilyn Christian, Betty was, they want to go. And it's not, and I must say, in defense of the Richmond Center, my thing was to them was that, you know what, you're not walking to Christiansted. And somehow you need to get out of Fredericksted as well and come to Christiansted. So
Right.
when you come in the bus, you see things as you go along, but it's not enough for everybody. And you have to understand that people want, you know, to see things, because we always had more than
Let
one.
me cap that. Let me cap that with one thing. I want to give him just a quick thing, and then I come to you. Right? Quick. Okay. This government have a way of trying to save money by shutting down and consolidating.
I agree.
Okay, and I was willing to bet you that that's what we're talking about. Okay, and it happens in the libraries, it happens in the seniors. You know, it is one of these things, and we got to get to the bottom of it. You know, so now I gotta keep the high road. Ain't got nothing to do with so now. Anyhow, move on. It's your time, brother. Go ahead, sir.
They say as those buildings in the tsunami zone,
Mhm.
but the Richmond Center is in a blast radius.
But look at the clinic, the health center.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes, you know, but like I said, it's not for the want of trying to find out exactly what the issue is, but you're not always privy to the right answers.
Right.
But I can tell you
Mhm.
that once elected, we are going to work together to get a senior center in the
Right,
Fredericksted
right.
area.
You
What
ready
is
for that? I miss
Allersville?
Allersville.
And I love it because
Mm.
there's so many memories of persons that I knew that attended. The other day, I actually, and you know, sometimes you sit down and I started writing out all the people that I knew, and they were not just from Fredericksted, and I could rattle off a lot of the names that attended that center.
Right.
Okay, that's
And-
two things I have to talk to you about.
And
that legacy knowledge that you have.
Right.
Because we gotta do something with that. We were talking about that just earlier.
Yeah.
And we have to start documenting some of those things. So we'll
And not
after
only that, the senior center is a stone throw away from the water. So
Right.
ain't that tsunami zone? No?
So we could agree. We could
Yeah.
agree here that it ain't have nothing to do with tsunami. It got to do with consolidating everything. Two things this government is good at: that consolidating and raising fees for everything to make up for all the other tax breaks that they give to everybody else. Okay.
And I just want to share with you this that I put together, and it's a legislative transition governance book, because I always believe in preparations. Having been raised by my grandparents, the late Granville Milligan and Miriam Edney Milligan, I think I had the best grandparents in the whole wide world, and I think everybody else would agree. Grandparents' love is different than anything else, and of course, you know, they always say be prepared. So, you know, you want to get, before you start, you want to know exactly what you need to do. And there's no going into the Senate. And as I said, if you never attended a Senate hearing or even looked at one, I can't see that you would want to go there to say you're representing anybody. So I've had to testify several times. And one of the things I wanted to clear up as well as we do this presentation is that the Virgin Islands Madras that we have now was created by Bradley Christian as well. And I noticed some misconstrued notions about who created and who was responsible for it. I could tell because I had to go to the legislature to testify on his behalf. And now it has become the official fabric of the Virgin Islands. And there's so many things that we don't play up. We have our official music, Kwelbe. We have our official dance, Quadrille. And we have our official Madras fabric. These are things that the Department of Tourism and Cultural Ed should be pushing, because every other place would have capitalized and stuff like that. So these are the things that we want to make sure. We have lost a lot of our culture bearers, And we need to make sure that the future generation know from whence we came. People going to say, oh, Quadrilla is the slave master dance. But guess what? Our ancestors did it. So if they had an issue, they would not have done it. So we have to make sure that we preserve what else is left. And I agree with you. We need to have the hard conversation so people actually know and do not mix up the emancipation of 1840 with the fireburn of 1878.
Oh my
Listen,
goodness.
that really gets under me. So these are little things that we need to be proud of and make certain that we have to safeguard for our futures as well, future generations.
I wanted to take note of this here. There's an act called 8686.
86.
Yes, that is the Disability Integration Unit that was signed into law back in December of 2024.
Okay, I'll look it up.
2022, sorry.
2022, I'll look it up.
In the 34th legislature. Okay? This unit is supposed to be consist of 2 individuals, one for St. Croix, one for St. Thomas, to assist individuals with a disability before and after a disaster. This unit was funded from Senator Whitaker. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get back in after the 25th legislature. She didn't get into that. Since she did not return to the legislature, this funding disappeared. And the unit has never been, put together. Right now, I said 2022, right? We're in 2026. How much hurricane season have done come and gone, and this unit has not been active.
And that seems to be the issue all around.
Mm-hmm.
Again, accountability.
Yeah, it's the way the system works.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't have to do with what you get back in on it. It has to do with the commitment to the piece of legislation that was passed. That's what it comes down to. And so that's really what it comes down to. Now, a little bit of history as a West End guy, from somebody who parents, my parents.
I know them very well. The Vickers, they were from Queen Street in Frederickstead. The Vickers.
Yeah, and the hospital in Frederickstead, the old hospital building.
Yeah, but I'm up there, and I was delivered there as well.
So
it's near and dear to me.
All right. But anyhow, I'll do a real quick run through. Ingeborg Nesbitt Clinic, okay, is a nonprofit, and it's a nonprofit as opposed to being part of the Department of Health, because the federal government required that to get the funding, right? Okay, so the plan was Ingeborg Nesbitt building and a hospital building, because they could get federal dollars to fix up both of them. Okay, one of our St. Croix senators went and split off the hospital, okay, and give it back to the Department of Health, who ain't got a part to whatever to fix up nothing. All right, and it's the Department of Health felt like I had done something wrong by taking that. I create a vehicle by which it could get funding, so that through a memorandum of understanding, both them and the clinic could have used the building. Instead, for like 20 years now, we have the building in a continuing state of disrepair. And there's some talk about how to finagle getting it into the hands of the private sector. All of these type of things. I'm just throwing that out to you because the bottom line is, I'm sure they could come up with a strategy where Frederickstead Healthcare Inc. could find the funding, and through the collaboration with the Department of Health, get that building back into healthcare and service of our community. All right. I think it's a doggone shame that senator went and did what he did. But you know what? God didn't say that is my job. I ain't got nothing on my forehead. But at least I can speak to you, a potential representative, to bring it out.
And I will tell you this: I was born there, and that building is near and dear to me because my grandfather was the first lab technician in that building as well. Your mother, along with my aunt Clarissa Milligan, they all worked there.
All right.
So anything to preserve it to what it was and intended for. And that's the issue that I have, Senator Kanda. We had our forefathers and mothers that made intentions for us, okay, for things, intent and purposes, and then everybody comes along, they cannot relate to it, so they don't care. That's the difference with me. I could relate to a lot of stuff on island, in the territory, and beyond. And that is very important to us. We just, everybody just want to knock it down or do this or whatever like that. But do you know how many persons were born into that building? Do you know how many? I mean, I could remember them doing all kinds of stuff that while we hospital can't provide today.
Well, when my mom comes down here, we always make our pilgrimage from the Frederick State, and she said, "Yeah, that's what we used to do, the formula, and I was in charge of that."
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of history there. You handed me this document here, and as I look through this document, this is what some people call a platform, okay, in that context, right? And is it available online?
No, we're gonna put it online because I just wanted to show you how far advanced. But we have to streamline because you can't put all of it online. But we're gonna try to put most of it. I had a meeting last night, and there's certain things that we're gonna put on there and build upon it.
Well, I have a suggestion to you. In everything, there's more to funerals in terms of functionality for certain things. They have these books that basically is like a book online, and this is a book, and in that sense, and I highly recommend you try that because you can get it all online in that context, and because these days you got all these people stepping out there, and they have a fancy looking piece of paper. But the detail that I see in here between you and the people you have working with you, obviously you all have a plan and you have a strategy, the kind of strategy for when I look here that you could have your plan A and your plan B and your plan C. So I think like, I come with this plan and the planning and everything done. Okay. So I just want to encourage you as a candidate in that regards to get that information out and raise the standard. Okay.
Go ahead.
Make sure you put it online that it's in a OCR format.
Okay. OCR.
Yeah, optical character recognition.
Okay.
So someone who is visually impaired, if they're using their phone, their tablet, or even the computer, they can read it.
They can read it. Yeah, what happens is if you just scan it, it becomes a literal piece of paper.
Yeah.
But when the OCR does embed the text in it, so they can actually read it or play it back audibly. Yeah.
And let me say to you, even with this, the problems that we have, if you go through that, I have solutions. I have this solution because you have anything, as you know, you can't say, okay, we're going to fix the road. What's the funding source? What is available? And I went through every aspect to make sure that only that, because a lot of times you will see the funding sources are there, but is it available? That's the next thing. So I didn't put anything that was not available because I don't want to ever have anybody say, well, he said this or he said that. Whatever you see there is because I've already fact-checked it and make certain that the funding is available. I said to you, a lot of it is federal funding. And my hesitant with that is because of all that is going on with all the cuts right now. And listen, Doug, I'm very much, how should I say, nervous about what the future brings for us in this territory. And I don't want to live fearfully, but I want to live carefully. But I also want to be realistic because I don't think that we really realize what is coming to meet us in short order. So where we may think this is important for us might not be important for the federal government. So we have to make sure certain that even the stuff that we see, that they're realistically going to be things that we can do.
Okay. Well, the general will come in with her bullwhip or she might call Nibs for something to come for me because we made sure we had quality time because we had some things that happened in the beginning. We had some things. So in that context, we're gonna have to
Wrap
bring
up.
it to a close.
Okay.
But I'm very happy that you chose this platform. WSTX is a community-minded station, and we continue to push that. And we encourage anyone out there who is seeking to serve the community to look at WSTX as a very important means of speaking to the people. When we do our show here, it's on Facebook, which means that those people who are busy with work or childcare or whatever the case may be can go back afterward and see what it is that you and others may have to say in that context. But most important, campaigning the way it used to be is something we need to get back to. People to people.
And that's what I
People
plan
to
to do.
people.
That's what I plan to do. I told
Okay.
people, you don't see me, you're going to see me. I don't, people would say they supporting you. I said, well, I want your support. I need your vote. You know, and people say, oh, Alvin, know everybody, so they're going to vote for it. That doesn't get you elected. You have to go out and vote. And I take nobody for granted. So I am saying it publicly. We didn't get our numbers as yet. We don't get them till next week. So I'll be back again when we have the number. But please look out for me because I'm going to be out there. I am not afraid to come and have the hard conversations with you. And one of the things that I say to people is that you have to hold everybody accountable, not just the senators alone or the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and also the executive branch. And there are some disconnect, and it's not because it's a separation of the branches. There's still some disconnect within those entities as well, and we need to bridge that so that we can move forward.
All right. Well, as I close out my part here, I want to tell you, right, the most important thing with you coming here today, from my perspective as a person who has to go out and vote, okay, is that I'm separating myself from the fact that I know you maybe a little bit more than
Most people
in some regards. You know, people see you at the organ and they love it. They see you walking with the seniors, they love it. They see you walking with the culture, they love it. And what has happened here today is that they realizing there's a whole lot more to Alvin. Folks, get to know Alvin Milligan. He took the time here to come to WSTX and tell you about himself, but there's so much more. So you can see you have somebody that's grounded in the community as well as knowledgeable in the technical side of what it entails to be a senator. Not just to drive the government car, if you get assigned one, or to be called senator, as opposed to somebody who can get things done, who can collaborate with others to get things done.
And that's the one thing I want to push to, and I'll close out just now too. One of the things I want to push is working together. We could disagree, and I always use that, and I don't want to disagree unnecessarily, but I want the both. Everybody does it because you're going to go out and you're going to vote for 6 other people. Make me number 7. And we have to make certain that people have the best interests of the St. Croix district. Once elected, we work together to make certain that our St. Croix district moves forward. And also to forge a responsibility to work with the executive branch as well, collectively, so we could better the living qualities and conditions of St. Croix. And the territory and whole, because I say to people, I'm a Virgin Islander, but I have to be concerned about St. Croix because this is where I live. So once again, I invite everybody to come out, and next Saturday, the 29th of August, we're going to have a grand food sale at 11 o'clock in the area of Peter's Rest, where the FedEx building is. And come on out and I'll be there. So, you have any questions and stuff like that, or any concerns. Also, we have some yard signs. Anybody's interested in them. You saw the first one that just said Alvin alone, but now we have the full name and everything on it, because that was, you had to ask the question, who is this Alvin? That's Alvin who the player, that's Alvin and the chipmunk, that's Alvin whatever. But now you know who the Alvin is. So please, I ask you, if I don't get to you personally, from now I'm asking you for your vote on November 3rd. But I plan to be out there in the community and meet and greet you and, have those conversations that needs to be had.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's a group that meets at Independent Living, the MASH group.
Mm-hmm.
You can call them 340-778.
Slow down. You know that ain't what's time. What you rushing them, man? Give you a chance to get pen.
778-7992.
Mm-hmm.
And the two ladies in there that one of them will answer the phone. You can make an appointment to come in to see the group.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's the group that Miss McFarlane used to be in charge
correct.
of. Okay.
Yes.
I'm very familiar with them. I promise to do that. Because everybody needs a voice. And that's my thing, a real voice for the people in 2026. Okay?
Okay, fantastic. It's been our pleasure to have you here. Jared, I'm going to give you the reins for a quick second. There are a couple of things I have to share with you before you run out the door. And as part of my responsibility as a potential constituent, okay? And I say that, go ahead, Jared.
He don't want to give me the key for the car.
No, but no, I ain't here to keep for the
Put
child.
me in charge of the station. You see that?
That's funny. God knows I laugh like this in a lot. So thank you, Jared, because in your grief, sometimes the emotions go all over, and that is a good.
One night we went down to they had the music in the park here, Christiansted.
Uh-huh.
And I taking him back up to Fredericksted. When I leave, I'm dropping him off, minding my business, come out the road. A house run out and lick up in the car.
Wow.
You know, when in front of when she'll swing back, mash up the car, whatever. The car police get the car to all this. Anyhow, the long and short of it, he tell me, "Say, you should just give me the keys."
He would have saw the house. He would have saw the house.
Not see the house. I wouldn't have to drive down there,
Exactly.
and the house would have never come in.
Come out. That's true too. That's true too. That's being proactive. I have to say that I am that person. I don't like to react to stuff unnecessarily. And even though, you know, and I think that's what's gonna drive me, because I like, if I could fix something before it gets to the point where it's unfixable or takes more time, it's gonna be done.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks again, Jared.
Yes, sir.
You have the reins, and I know you and you said are doing a
And just
fantastic
before I go
job.
real quickly, I need to thank the listening audience for being in. I have people all the way from the Bahamas online. Some friends in the Bahamas from the St. Barnabas Anglican Church, they're listening. So I know they're on, and I have my cousins on the mainland in New York and different places also listening. So to all of you that took the time to be on, thank you so much. And of course, the people of St. Croix and the Virgin Islands and the whole.
All right, fantastic. And let them know that it's there on Douglas Canton on YouTube, so they could see it, those who miss it, as well as it's on Facebook for WSTX, okay? Jared, you in charge, okay? And as my mother and father would say when they go out, nobody in, nobody out.
Nobody else.
Yeah, oh yes.
Okay. Well,
Hey,
yeah.
anyway, thanks.
Right. We're 4 minutes before the hour of 10 o'clock.
Oh, we have 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes. So we got, I want to remind the public that you said under the umbrella of UBI, we assist persons with disabilities and seniors in how to use their cell phones, tablets, etc. You can call 340-692-4266 to make an appointment to come in. We are happy to serve you. Also, also offers the low interest loan program. You can call 340-692-4267 to find out more about the program, where you can borrow some money to put in a ramp, make your house more accessible for whatever disability you may have. USAID also offers the ICANN Connect program, which is the ICANN Connect program. It's a program in which if you or your loved one has considerable hearing and vision loss, the ICANN Connect program is for you or your loved one. This is a program that is offered on the via USAID. You can visit icanconnect.org to learn more about the program, or you can call 340-692-4267. USAID also offers durable medical equipment for loan. You can borrow a wheelchair walker or cane. Just call 340-692-4267 or 4266. If you're in need of a wheelchair walker or cane, we can assist you with that for 30 days or more. Just give us a call at 340-692-4266 or 4267. Yeah, you said working for you.
All right. Okay. That was a interesting interview. And as I said, WSTX is one of the stations here in the Virgin Islands, and as such, we're available to everyone who wants to have their thoughts put out there to the public. All right. You got to tell people who you're about, folks, because I know a lot of people I walk by, and some of them, you hear what the man say, asking for vote. You know, I know people who run, some get in, some ain't get in, and they know me, and they didn't say them keywords, and I learned that one. You know, you ask everyone for vote. It's not about whether they like you or don't like you. It has to do with the fact that you have the basic respect to say to somebody when you cross them, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm asking for support. You don't have to give it, but it's part of the interaction. Just like when somebody reach out their hand to shake your hand, it's not servitude, it's civility. You're not serving anybody by putting out your hand and reciprocating. It's civility. And we talk about the young people and the violence and everything else. You know, that civility goes a long ways. Knowing how to de-escalate things is part of civility. You know, we got to be serious as to whether or not we're just saying it or we mean it, whether in politics or in our everyday life. And remember, folks, don't be holding a grudge out there. Okay? Grudge is like drinking poison and thinking the other person will fall down dead. It don't work that way. Leave the grudge them alone. Okay? On top of that, definitely you're walking every day in life, your heart pumping every day, that is work. Okay? Don't get into hate. Hate is too much work, mister. Okay?
But
you know what's easy?
If you like me, just do a random act.
That's right.
Of kindness. I ain't letting
Just
you
do
go
a
with
random
that.
act, man.
Okay?
Hey,
So,
it's
of kindness. All right.
hey, it's been another show. We've reached the end of our show. The marshal is here to put us through the door.
Yep.
So it's another round, end of Reflections with Doug and Jerry. So we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, different topic. Peace out. What brand